Hello friends, this is a little project overview of Evelyn 2. Where are we currently? It's been a while since the last time I made this kind of video, a little devlog showing. I'm gonna show a little bit about these scenes. This is the title screen scene. There's just a plane with the video player and some fire particles going across the screen. Really simple. I'm just gonna, let's go to the first scene. Not that one. This is the new intro scene. My naming conventions are immaculate. Immaculate. Yes. I changed the water. We now have reflections which look pretty nice. I think I actually paid for this asset, so I guess that's one reason why it looks so nice, because last time it was not very good. I didn't like it very much. But yes, everybody's seen this scene. Then there's this scene. It is just a cutscene. Cutscene scenes are really simple and easy to do. They're just these small rooms with not a lot of stuff. Let's go to chapter 1. And we have a few different intro scenes here. This here is the location where Evelyn 1 ended. The final fight was here. There's still the axe and some burned bodies of people. And yeah, this is axe of the bad guy from the first game. Then we have our Lord Maxwell and Johanna here contemplating life and stuff like that. Here we can actually see the ruins of Arkrest. Kinda, part of it at least. We're gonna go there in chapter 3. So that's kinda cool. Then there's the intro too. Yeah, this is the scene where all these soldiers are just marching. This is like, is it 200 or something? I don't remember actually. But if I open the NPC... Okay, it's only 100 and... No, wait, they're 2 times here. Because I'm now... Oh yeah, there's 2. Yes. Yes. There's NPCs and then NPC 2. So yes, there are 216 soldiers marching. And they're in 2 parts, because when one of these groups goes off screen, they will teleport here. So this is infinite loop of soldiers, basically. But there's only 200. And then there's this scene where, or like this area where we like go up the hill. But when we get close here, the proportions get all weird. And it's just funny to show how these things work in the engine. This doesn't really matter. I don't think we can see the door. Let's go back here. I guess you can just about see the brown color. Yeah, this is just static screen with this text and speech going. Then there's this cutscene, but we're not going... Well, it doesn't really matter the order we go in. I'm just gonna show, like, all of this is just empty because the camera is like here. So there's these guys. I should change the texture on this wall, because this is still the old materials that I used to use with, or textures that I used with RPG Maker and stuff. They can be used here because I have an open license, but I should still change this, and it doesn't make really sense to have these on top where it's broken, the same texture. Yeah. Then there's our main base, Watskar Castle. This place has seen some updates. I also updated the water here, even if we don't really see much of it. Yeah, I think the scene settings here don't show that there's some actual mountain in the background. But in game you will see it. It's just what I have set the limits here in my scene camera, because I think it might bug with the sky system. I could look at how to get better sky. This is currently, it's a dynamic sky, but it's just this cloud going around, and then you have the sun, and then it's very, like, for some reason this fast sky, it's harder to make believable looking day scenes. Like, it's very, I don't know, it's somehow it's difficult to make like believable daylight scenes. Yeah, I'm just showing this. There's a place back here in case you didn't know. And then there's all the people that we can recruit along the way. At least some of them. We can recruit these from like Amber Bay. I actually should update that recruitment system, because right now as it is, these people just come here after you've liberated Amber Bay, but I think we could have it in a way that you could also individually recruit these guys and not just everyone at once. I don't know. Might be something to do. But yeah, they're in there hiding. So if you ever somehow glitched your way through these walls, you can find these guys and talk to them. That's silly, but you can do that. Then there's the inside of this castle. And yes, it matches like quite exactly the shape of the castle outside. This, we only have the first floor. I haven't done and probably don't plan to make the upper level. There will be, I think from here we go into the cellar, where we also have kind of like a prison of sorts. That will be a part of the game at some point. So yeah, stay tuned for that. And also we have all these people outside the screen here. There's our two main dudes, heroes, friends, and stuff like that. And then we also have our Taiga goddess here. She's always watching over you when you're in this scene, just so you know. And then we go to Amber Bay. Amber Bay also received an update to the water. There was something I could do about the little line that you see along the very edge of these distant objects. I don't remember if I could fix it here, because it might just be like, because it's so far, I don't know, you can kind of see it when I move the camera this way. I don't think it's really a problem, because this looks different anyway in game when it's full screen and stuff like that. But I do like how the sky reflects and all these things reflect to the water here. Yeah, it's pretty nice. It's a lot better than what we had earlier. So that is always good, yes. And this was very smooth earlier, but then I added this pixelization to it, so it fits better into our aesthetic here. Yes, that's good. But yeah, this is the biggest scene. This scene takes the longest to render all the shadows to, and every time I have to do some kind of change here, I have to render this scene again. I mean, if there's a change to the objects, or like if I add more stuff here somewhere, which I might do at some point, I have to render all of this again, so that's kinda annoying, but there's not much I can do about that. It is how it is. We have our little seagulls. I think these are relatively high poly as compared to what we have in the game. Like, not that high poly, but still the body looks kinda smooth. I did also change textures on these guys to be pixelated, but it doesn't really matter, because this is how you see them. They're just there flying around. So yeah. Yeah, then there's the when you start to see these boulders are here ready to fly at these buildings that look distinctively different to every other house in the city, they're going to blow up. Yeah, I don't know if that's... I could add similar roofs to these, so it's not as like noticeable that they're different. Yeah, it's all a lot of this is a work in progress, but we are still in early access, and people have said that a lot of these maps seem empty, but I am focusing on the main story first, and then I am polishing and adding more stuff later on when I feel like it. Let's move on. Next scene, Maxwell Keep. So we visited this place also in the first game, but now it is run down and it is captured by the Warwitch Covenant. So that's fun. There's bodies here. There's not a lot of stuff outside. A couple of mushrooms that you can pick. I could also add something more interesting here. Maybe like a mausoleum that you could enter and loot for some stuff. Yes, maybe. I'll keep something like that in mind. I need to add more stuff to these scenes. I know. There are some stuff that I want to change. Nothing too major from these first 2 chapters. Maybe a couple side quests. But yeah, this is the scene. Previously the key was just here. People had difficulties finding them. Or it. So I added this note here that will guide you to this painting that has the key inside of it. Spoilers. Now you don't have to look for it yourself, but it's pretty clear, in my opinion. Catacombs. This is the chase scene with this guy. You fall through the roof. This is the same room that was in the early game cutscene with this lady and the other guys. And now it's a little bit different. We have this chase scene and we are able to get this guy locked inside this pentagram here with some magic stuff. And then you can export this place safely. You can also, if you're able, you can find the... I mean, if you're lucky, let's say, if you find these keys, because there's 2 parts of the key, and there's like low chance of them being in the same room. So if you happen to find them in the same room, just grab them, put them together, and then you can go through this door. You don't have to do this thing that you have to grab these color things from here and then place them here. If I was evil, I could also put these colors to the different rooms here, but I don't think that's necessary because this is the the lore and the stuff what to do with them. You find them here and then you have the lights here, so it's difficult enough because you have to maneuver around this place because he is coming for you at all times. Then we have another cutscene map. When we get the key, we get to the first shard, and then we get a little flashback, and it's just this. It looks kinda cool when in game from the camera like this. You have the torches with the fire and everything, and in the engine it's just this. It's very simple, but it's effective. And then we have the final cutscene of the first chapter. We didn't really make it clear as to who this person is, and I don't know why the shadows look weird in this map. They kinda do look, what the hell. Might have to look into that. Well, we are not too long in this scene, so it doesn't matter. But this guy was like the Lord Protector of Aura. Kinda like the highest ranking dude. Like comparable to King, but we don't have kings. So probably we should add some more. I haven't added much lore yet after after like the first 2 chapters. So I should add more lore and information about what happened here. But yeah, he was protecting one of the shards and now Auron has one of them. Okay, let's move on to chapter 2. Gravehill. This is a little village. We have some cult type dudes here. Just living in the middle of nowhere. It's an idyllic little place. And these guys are kinda crazy. I should also add some more in here, a side quest or 2. And here we actually can go inside all of these buildings. Here's the church with their saint in this picture. Painting made by my friend. And then there's all these little houses. And these also, they reflect the actual shape of the buildings outside. So I put some effort into these, even if they are small. But I do like small maps. It's easier to make small maps. And then there's this little boss area. Originally this was going to be an elevator, but after figuring that elevators are difficult to keep the player on them and to avoid issues basically with a lot of stuff, I just added this kind of stairway that you have to go down. And then there's this boss fight. It isn't really clearly told what you should do here, but after you realize that you're not going to do damage to this guy by just hitting him, and then there's these crystals, maybe you can figure out quite easily that you have to destroy the crystals. How many are these of these crystals? 15? Yeah, 15 crystals, destroy them, and then you are able to damage the boss here. And then you will get an item. This is all of this Gravehill and this place is completely optional. You don't have to do it. But it does affect the world and the future of how things will go. Oakenforge. This also had some water changes. There's this kind of river going through it. There's a river mode to this water, but I haven't really figured it out yet. I don't know if I really need to, because this looks just fine. Just being there, like kind of calm. But I do like the reflections, because we didn't have those earlier. So that does make it look a lot better. And yeah, this is kind of this town under a big tree, kind of a holy oak or whatever, the great oak. This place is actually in the middle of a tundra. It's very cold outside of here, but the tree keeps us warm here. This is inspired by Kuldahar from the Icewind Dale games. So yeah, magical oak and a little town under it. I like the idea, so I made it here. We have a couple little quests here. We have some secrets also in this map, if you can find them. And yeah, there's the tavern you can go inside. There's the Elder Tower that you can go inside. And then there's this cave that you can go inside. And there's also this newly added side quest place that you can go inside. This is the Elder Tower. We have 3 floors for the 3 elders. I decorated this place quite nicely. I kind of like these things that they have here. Spent a lot of time with this, even though there's not much to interact with here. I need to add some lore stuff here, so that will probably change. Yeah. But it's nice. And then there's the little particle system here in the middle, the blue fire. I like it. I like it a lot. Then there's the fallen version of the Oakenforge. This has to do with the choice you do in Gravehill. Do you go there and get the thing? If you don't, this might happen. The trees start dying, leaves start dropping, the crystals go red and everybody goes mad. And yes, that's very fun. I could add more enemies. I should add more enemies into this place, actually, now that we talk about this. Because there's only 2. So yeah, make it more zombie like invasion kind of thing. That'd be fun. But now it's very simple still. So these things might change. But the thing is, once you leave this place, you cannot go back if you fail Oakenforge. There's some random errors. I don't wanna care about those. Here's the newest update. There's a new side quest person. They ask you to do thing that will take you to a place. The place that is not this place. This is just the tavern. There's some random NPCs. All of these are, or most of these are, submissions from people that I have made. Might add more people to this place at some point. Who knows? This is the side quest thing. You go into a sacred grove and everything is very small, and I mean you are very small and tiny compared to all the different mushrooms and things in here. And then you have to answer the riddle, or like you have to answer questions that this druid person asks you. Then there's the caves system. You get in here, there's lava, there's this line that you can go through over the lava, and you can go deep. I had this section that is completely dark. I had planned to fill it with stuff. I might do it at some point, but I just wanted to get the update out, so we kinda jump from there to here in a little like cutscene that you go deeper and deeper. Might add more stuff at some point. Then there's this place. This place is absolutely filled with ingredients. If we have interactables, all these highlighted things, these are ingredients that you can make potions with and other stuff. So if you take the time to collect all of these, you're going to be set for potions for a while. So that's one thing that was difficult to manage with the potions. Because if you collect absolutely everything and you make a lot of money, you do have a lot of those. I added some recipes that use the potion. You can either make better potions or you can make like elixirs that enhance your skills. You can get pretty high stats quite early on, so I might have to turn up the difficulty after these like 2 or 3 chapters. So, but it really depends. I might have to do some sort of like system that the game won't be impossible for people who don't like do everything, but then there should be some challenge for people who like collect absolutely everything and pump up their skills as high as possible. So yeah, there's that kind of issue here with the game, because I don't want it to get like too boring for people who get high skills. And I might add maybe some quests that unlock only at a certain level. That's a good idea. Okay, but here's the caves. Then we go, after the caves, we go into a place that we were in before. We were in this place in the first game. These maps also reflect kinda the shapes of those maps from the first game. Here we came with 2 additional friends. Now we only have 1 friend, but they're not doing much. Yeah, the friends don't do much in the game, so just keep that in mind. There's 1 enemy in here. There's a lot of loot in this place. If you collect everything, you're gonna be rich. Let's just say that. There's this place. There's some goodies. There's also a lot of enemies in here. And then there's this trial of faith kind of thing. So you just have to these plates here, they're always going to be in this shape here. if you just run from here and jump this part, you can pretty much run all the way to the end. That's what I do. But essentially the point is that if you carefully step a little bit over the edge, this will show up. And then you have to just carefully go and test basically to see where this path goes. I don't know if it's annoying, I don't know if it's smart, but yeah, it's easy to just run through. And I don't know, I just find it funny. Because I'm the developer, I know exactly how this goes. So if you run, jump, and just keep running, and you will be fine. Because this kind of space here, if you just keep running, you're not gonna fall. The player has enough speed to like cover that gap pretty easily. But yes, a lot of loot. Speaking of loot, I had to like limit the amount of mana potions because that made the game too easy, because you can one-shot basically enemies with your spells. I might make some changes into that too, that you couldn't, and that the stun would be only temporary and the fire would do only more damage than your basic attacks and not kill or stun forever. Third level of this place. Yes, we have these 3 different colored places. They all have a meaning, and then there's these. We have to collect these special items that belonged to the leaders of this place, and they're now like buried here. And I think these people who are buried here are the 3 leaders of the Warwitch Covenant that we killed in the first game. So it's kind of funny like that. At least I think in like lore if you played the first game. And now you know that they're those guys. So yes. Okay, so more loot, stuff, maybe a couple secrets, a frog. Then the final level, there's a boss, there's a cutscene in the same place. Back there, I don't want to show the character there too closely because it's a bit of a spoiler. If you played the first game, you know who they are. So I'm not gonna go there. There's just what I can show you is there's a big fall, and this is like the boss arena. So have fun with that. There's a cutscene with a lot of these undead people, and this very like idyllic castle is just this small little room here, but it looks nice from the camera, so that's all good and fine. Yes, we are raising an army basically of undead in here, and then there's this cutscene also. I used this in a different cutscene where people were in the balcony earlier, but now we only have this room here. This is where Johanna lives in currently. And then there's our Lord Maxwell. And then there's the title screen of the first game. I don't remember, the camera is on this side, so if you know what you're looking for, you can see that, hey, this is here. I kinda like to put these little Easter eggs in my games. Okay, that was the second chapter. Then we go into the third chapter. Then we have Haven, this snowy little village. This place also kinda empty still. Need to add more content, more people, more side quest things. Now it's very simple. We just have to get assistance of this inventor dude who is up here. Yes. And then we have Morningstar, which is a big city, but for us it's only this cutscene with Evelyn, who is destroying the city. So yay for that. We have a Dark Shadow. And then there's another cutscene with Evelyn. And we have Johanna here for some reason, who knows why. Maybe you'll find out if you play the game. And then there's another scene with Johanna and Auron. This is the same place where Auron was with Evelyn earlier. Interesting. Darkest Overlook. This map. is this area where we can go underwater. I spent way too much time with this because this rope and these chains, they have like a, what's the word? A mask to them. So we have these. Does this show it? No. It has a mask. These masks overlap with these. So we can do an animation when this goes down. The rope doesn't just end, and these chains, they don't just disappear like that. Why is it so difficult to explain things? We also have this nice water here. It's nice. Then we have the same scene, but at night. Looks very nice. We have some things happening here. Lots of people. Then this is the ruins of Arkrest. This is actually, we can barely see anything down here. So we have to go down. We are underwater in this scene. And I'm trying to find, we start from here. This is the bell that we go down with. And there's some loot in this place, if you can find it. Lots of it may be hidden somewhere. But here we collect these memories basically of Arkrest. So this underwater place, this used to be the capital of Aura. But then in Arkham Break, I made a game about that happened and then it sunk under the sea. So here we are collecting these shards, or not shards, but like these memory things that we then see some old friends basically when we get them, and we get some good loot from here too. So that's like the final gameplay map of the chapter 3. And there was also the cursed forest that I made. This is nice. We have this guy in here. It's like a wraith that kills you if it catches you. That's why you have to stay in the light. If you don't stay in the light, it will come for you in the dark. But we have this inventor dude. His balloon falls and he's in here, so you have to go get them. And that's that for chapter 3. And we go to chapter 4. It is not out yet for playing, but we have this map here with the sea, ships. I have made this map a lot smaller than what it was previously. But we have this idyllic little orcish village here. It's very nice. I like this place. It's chill. But these guys are not very nice though. They are kind of warmongering against their cousins, which is the other orc tribe on the other side of the same island. And we have this place. This is very Morrowind coded. Some people said that it reminds them of Morrowind, which is kind of nice, because maybe that's what I was going for. We have these nice huts and the swamp, and we also have a friend in this place. Where is the... Can we even see the frog anywhere? I don't remember if it actually exists. It is here. Funny little guy, isn't he? He does have an animation. Frog idol. Where is this idol? It's here. Okay, hello. It's just there, and then it's catch animation. It does that. It catches the player if you go too far into the swamp. You encounter this guy and you will die. It will eat you. Stop it, stupid. Silly looking frog creature. But hey, it works. It's funny. It's a way to limit the player from going too far. You have these signs all over the swamp that you should go back. But if you don't listen to the signs, you will die. So basically, we don't have a invisible wall here. We have a frog that comes and eats you. But yeah, I need to add more people also to this map. This is work in progress, but chapter 4 will mostly be about these two orc tribes and their conflict. And I already made this start cutscene for this scene. We also again we have Johanna, Auron, and Evelyn here, and stuff happens between them. There was a little glimpse to what could happen here. Chapter 5 is going to be the Spellrot Wasteland. I haven't touched this area for the longest time, but it is this is a large single object that is the cliffs of this map. I don't know if I'll change it, but yeah, this place is here. Magic is dead, no magic works in here, and you slowly lose like health, or if you spend too long here you will die. So there's that kind of gameplay mechanic going here, and we have this siren dude person, lady, that we actually have to follow into a cavern down there, and you will find the next shard from there. That's the premise for chapter 5. And then we have chapter 6. We have a desert. Our lighting was off. But yeah, we have the golden desert. It's... I don't know why that looks so weird. We don't actually have... I don't know, there's just a random cactus down there. I don't know why. And we don't have any, like... There's no plane. The plane... Where are the planes? Planes are gone. I have just deleted them. Yeah. This whole place is under construction, but... It's supposed to be like a pretty dangerous place to go around because there's these sandworms that can attack. Not quite in the like scale of Dune, but smaller, but still deadly. But they can catch you in the kind of same way as the frog in the swamp. But there's gonna be some warning that some sand going to start going, and then they will jump and try to catch you. But if you can avoid that, you'll have a warning about that, and then you can just jump out of the way. But yeah, if you stay there, you might die. But yeah, there's some sand people. What are these? Nomads? I don't remember what these are called. Desert dweller. Yes. And doing stuff in this kinda abandoned little village will lead you to an ancient temple that will hold the next shard, which is going to be actually the final shard before we go into the final chapter. But these scenes still haven't really been made. But like for each chapter, the main area is like made besides the final chapter. But like from 4 to 6 chapters, the main areas are there. I just need to create more smaller maps, smaller scenes, and then the cutscenes. But those are kind of fast to do. But yeah, this is where we are at. It might look like there's still ways to go, but I'm pretty fast when I get to it. And chapter 4 shouldn't take too long, because I have this is kind of nice. I actually, yeah, there's this. I have decorated the seabed also here, so it looks kind of nice with the water. But yeah, there's going to be some story between these two orc tribes. You have to deal with that. There might be a choice there, or maybe multiple choices, but how are you gonna deal with this? And then you can get the next shard from somewhere with these orcs. And then we are kind of, well, more than halfway there, because there's only 3 chapters after that. And they're not gonna be too long, 5 and 6. So, or 4 for that matter. So, yeah. That's the situation we are in. I hope you liked this overview, and maybe it gives you some clearer like vision as to where we are now. But yeah, chapter 4 coming when it's ready. Chapter 5 no idea, but all in all, next year is going to be the final release of the game. I can tell you that. Yes. I won't keep my game in early access for years and years. But yes, early access is out there. You can play the first 3 chapters plus the intro chapter, the prologue. So technically 4 chapters. And then the last half is coming soon. And the demo is also out. It is just the intro scene here, this one. It is just this scene. The first, the prologue, that's the demo. And if you like that, you can then decide to buy the early access, and then you get to play all these 3 chapters after that. And 4 is coming soon. Yes, that is the situation we are in. I have said that like 3 times now. Yes, hey, thank you for watching. This was a bit longer video, but I think it shows pretty clearly like where we are with the game. And more is coming soon. Yes, thank you.